Hi, Richard. Hi, everyone. Yes, indeed, I can hear you.
Thank you very much for being here. Guys, a participant of the KDP Infinity program who has achieved excellent results has kindly dedicated his time to be here with us tonight. He is here to share his experience, to tell us a bit about how it went, and then to answer all your questions so that you can ask him if you have any doubts or anything. If you want to hear another perspective, another publisher who is doing really well, you have the opportunity. Okay, so guys, let's do this. We'll start with a brief introduction, tell you a little about ourselves, and then we'll move on to the questions as usual. So that's it. I'll hand it over to you. Please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you were doing before, when we met, and so on.
Richard, I lost you.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yes, I had lost you. I had completely lost you.
Okay, I said that now you and I will do a little presentation. We'll tell a bit about how it went. And then the students will ask us some questions. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Go ahead. You start. So introduce yourself. Who you are, what you do, what you have done.
So I am from the province of Ragusa. I am currently a public employee and also an entrepreneur, let's say both a physical and a digital entrepreneur. I have been a self-publisher for a long time now from another program for 3 years. Yes, 3 years, 3.5 years. I immediately had decent results, let's say. More or less always with 2.5K, 1.8K every month, zone 8 every month. And last year I was fortunate enough to sell my account. Not for a lot, just a little, but it allowed me to start from scratch again with more, let's say, skills and abilities, let's call them that. And again, I started off well, but I was always stuck between 1.8 and 2.5 once I reached 3 until I bought the course from the guys. I wanted to buy it earlier in April or May, I think, when you launched it for the first time, but I didn't. And that was a mistake. Then when I bought the course in November, I immediately saw the first results and, well, my business took off. And here I am tonight with you, Richard, and with you all. So I ask you, Salvo, what made you curious?
So you came from another experience that went fairly well, we can say. You managed to make an exit. So what made you curious about us? The fact that you couldn't, let's say, make the leap in quality, can we call it that?
Because I was missing it. Exactly. Exactly. I was missing that something extra that I still somewhat miss. Because in fact, Giuseppe and I are still working together. The thing that made me purchase the program was precisely the goal-oriented approach because of the guarantee of being guided until we reached the goal, which I achieved quite quickly with, let's say, very few books, so not that many.
The story of many. Exactly. So, as I told you, I was stuck there. You said that these guys here guarantee the goal, for better or worse. Let's see what they have to say. Let's see what they have to teach us, to teach me. Okay, so you joined the program, you were telling me. I think it was in November when we talked, right? Yes, yes, the first meetings were in mid-November, I believe. Yes, mid-November. Yes, end of November. And then I published the first book with you guys in mid-December. Perfect. So let's say, did you find any differences compared to the previous training you had before?
Well, here I am being guided step by step. I have to tell the truth, even before I had done some work with a trainer from another academy with whom I got along well. I have to say the truth. I always had 2 or 3 things going on, but with him, I recovered a book that did well. I have done 3 with you so far, and all 3 have gone quite well. I have stopped for a couple of weeks because, let's say, I am waiting a bit for the Amazon royalties because, as we all know, we have to advance the money for the ads, and when the business explodes, it's quite a lot. So I have paused a bit. I am reviewing the books after Gio's interview with Giovanna, and I am reviewing all the books regarding plagiarism. I publicly thank Giovanna because we talked, and she also gave me some advice. So these 2 weeks, I am working on this, fixing the books to make them as secure as possible because, of course, when you start making significant figures, you fear everything. I also did an interview with another guy a few days ago. Luca, by the way, I greet him live.
He started off very strong. In February, making 20K practically in the first 20 days. But now he's also sorting everything out after the live session we did with Joe. Updates will be released in the course specifically about this, so we will be creating an anti-ban module step by step so you can't go wrong. And it's important, guys, that you go and fix everything you have to be sure you can work calmly. So Salo, let's say on this side you found support, but then did you actually change anything? Did you learn something new? Did you understand what you needed to make the click?
Together with Giuseppe, we looked through the books, including examining the covers. Giuseppe gave me some extra tips to understand a bit better how to create them optimally because the cover is, let's say, the most important thing. Obviously, the book needs to be well made, but the cover is what makes people click. So this was the main thing. Then, being able to make books, find freelancers, and produce books at a low cost is already quite significant. I had a bit of an idea before purchasing the course, but understandably, one is always scared because with the writing company, we have the support of the more reliable master, whereas with a freelancer, you never know who you'll find. Fortunately, after a brief search, I found 2 who are quite available, very affordable, write well, and then, of course, I spend a bit more time checking the grammar and plagiarism. We now also check for plagiarism. Indeed, I found 2 very helpful people, so we are working together. In fact, this week they are helping me fix the old books where there was quite a bit of plagiarism, I must say, and I am finding it quite satisfactory. So this is another very important factor because one recovers the investment much sooner, meaning that even if the book doesn't do very well, you can still recoup the investment. In the past, recovering 700 or 800 euros was more difficult. If a book, understandably, can also do poorly, it doesn't necessarily succeed on the first try.
Absolutely. It's exactly, let's say that's exactly where the game is, right? To be able to invest the maximum, which is what an entrepreneur should do to get the most by investing the least. Of course, it's normal if, as always, we refer to examples of physical businesses. You can have a restaurant that makes you 10,000 euros in monthly profit, and that's fine. It's one thing to buy it for 200,000 euros and another to buy it for 2 million euros. That is, you always have to do the math and understand if, let's say, an investment is worth it or not. For example, regarding keywords, how did you find it compared to what you were doing before? Did you have a different perspective?
I had some genuine insights with the keywords. Being an experienced self-publisher, I could more or less find them, but rightly so. With Giuseppe, we analyzed them. He also helped me analyze them, meaning I am more confident with the calls because I know I can go for it with certainty since I have you on the other side, giving me the confidence to say, all right, we can publish. I still have an endless list of keywords to publish on. I have 3, 4 books already ready, another 3 to be written. But as I said before, I'm taking a moment to pause. I will resume publishing again in mid-March.
When they see them in a frenzy, you can't see them publish. When they see them in a frenzy, you can't see them publish. When I see them go crazy, I want to republish everything, so I need to control myself. Let's say, on the as side, how did you find it? Did you find any interesting insights? Did you change your launch, management, or optimization methodology?
Well, let's say I found your methodology quite useful because it gives an immediate boost to the books. I mean, I felt quite good about it. And I see that the books, let's call it, take off right away. In other words, if the book is good, the wait to see if the book succeeds is much shorter. Already within a week of action, I saw results in these 3 books I published. 4 books. Sorry, 4 books.
Fantastic. So, what difference did having our support make on a psychological level and on a technical level? Do you think you would have achieved the same results if you hadn't taken this kind of path?
No, in fact, I should have done it earlier. I should have purchased your course already when I first thought about it. In May, to be honest. Because I was always stuck with those. I always had few books. I always had few books around 3 or 4, but I was always stuck at that amount, around 1800, 2000, 2300, depending on the period. February is always the best time of the year for me, even though it's a bit shorter with the ads. However, I still need to optimize quite a bit because my expenses are still high, around 43 to 44% of the total order. So we are working on it with Giuseppe. We need to get it below 40. Absolutely. We need to get it below 30 at least. So, and
Absolutely, it must manage to drop below 30 at least.
in the meantime, let's get below 40 because they have never managed to do it.
Slowly, now everything is getting organized, getting optimized. Obviously, it takes a bit of time to get everything running smoothly. You tweak here, you tweak there. Then you understand what you can improve in the book, what you can adjust, and from there you keep growing more and more. So let's get a bit more into the details, and then we'll leave room for questions, as I see they have already started asking them. We start the program in November, first core math, end of November or mid November.
Oh, yes, either mid or late November. I don't remember exactly, but yes, after the 15th, from the 15th to the 25th of November, around that time.
So you entered the program and were making 2K, so I imagine you closed it in November.
Net, I'm talking about net with the 1800, 1900.
800 net in November, where we start working together. Perfect. What happens in December?
So I already had 2 books ready. However, with the idea of purchasing the course, I put them on standby. I said that I would review them with Giuseppe, especially the subtitle and cover parts, which are the most important. So we reviewed them with Giuseppe, and in mid-December, I published the first book with you guys. As I mentioned before, it did well immediately, and in 15 days, it made 1.5 copies. This book you're talking about, right? Net, yes, I'm talking about net. I always talk about net, yes.
So what is your total for December? Revenue and net.
So the candle closes it net at 2.8 because I already had 2 books published. One I had unpublished, as I mentioned before, with another approach. And then this one that I published with you. So I had 3 in total, and the gross I made 5. 5 gross and net 2, 8.
Okay.
Then in January, we published 2 new books with Giuseppe and also re-release one that had been unpublished. We make very few changes, but really very few. And that book also takes off, as do the 2 books with Giuseppe. I closed January with 15 and 5 gross, and net we are at 8 and 2.
Okay.
So with 4 books,
So 4 books, 8K net. 8K is something net. How is February going? Because everyone would say December, January, another season. Brian did better than January.
At the end of January, I had published an old book that had been revised before, and with Giuseppe, we only optimized the ads. I haven't published any other books. We spent some time working on other books that are still on hold. They are ready for launch with covers and everything, but I am waiting a little bit. And now I checked a little while ago, it's 22,000 gross and a net of about 12.3.
Good.
I have two accounts because I created a second account to diversify the risk a bit.
A dizzying growth, I would say, from 2 to 22 in 3 months. In 2 or 3 months. Really a powerful growth. Did you expect it?
Well, no, honestly, no. I am very happy because I didn't expect it. I mean, I honestly had some goals, but I didn't expect such high figures. I just saw the net with the books launched with you, and we are at 7.5 net, so more than double compared to the overall. Because rightly, I wasn't starting from scratch. So our goal was from where we were.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Sorry if there are some issues because I hear you with a delay, meaning I see the lip movements first and then hear the audio.
I, on the other hand, first hear the audio and then see the lip movements. Don't worry. So I would say if you could let us take a look at the dashboard. You know we are big fans of total transparency. And then we'll start with some questions because I see they are really eager tonight.
I'm sharing my screen with you. Get ready for KDP and the ads. Yes, I'm sharing my screen with you. Go ahead.
Yes, then I'll bring it up later. Is it shared? Yes, I see it shared, but I should add it myself. Can you see the screen? No, I see the screen all white.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Go to KDP that.
I am sharing my screen here. I see white. Try stopping it and restarting it. As you are sharing, but it says, yes, it is shared. Try stopping it from here. You can't see my monitor. Let's see. Stop. Present. Share screen. I'll try removing it myself. Can you see?
Some connection issues tonight. Unable to get back in. Dropped. Right at the best part, guys. We'll get him back in. I'll send you the link. Yes, we got lost for a moment under all the connection.
All right, let's try again.
Let's see if we can do it, otherwise we'll move on to the questions.
Okay.
Okay, now it works. Now I see it. Yes. So, one, February 27th, practically 18K, and the rest you were telling me.
In the other account, the orders are 4 and 5K. Net are 2 and 5.
Okay. Can you perhaps maybe please show us the cost of this?
This month,
Just perfect.
so 10 net from here and 2 and 5 net to diversify sequels, then both in terms of exit, that's the base, and also to diversify, because as you have also said in the live sessions, the more the account grows, the higher the risk that Amazon will conduct checks and you never know. I want to say something before making claims. Guys, think it through, because you risk a lot of money and putting people in difficult situations if you make random claims for trivial reasons. In the end, it's better to try to contact us, since we are public and we know each other more or less in all the groups. So, in case of any problem, try to gather information and contact privately, because many times mistakes can be made unconsciously, right? In the end, as you know, basically, essentially, in general, try to be cautious. One sometimes makes a mistake without knowing it and then suffers a problem later. I really wanted to say this because I think it's important.
I hold on and say, think about your own. Think about your own business, your books, your covers, and that's it. Honestly, I have never opened a competitor's book. Never. If I tell you never, you have to believe me. If someone was selling below me or on the same page, I never went to check if they had copied my text to make a claim. You won't get anywhere like that. In my opinion, this is really a scarcity mindset, and there's enough for everyone. If the cover is the same, meaning they take the cover and change the title, then fine. But if it's similar, more or less, let's leave it alone. I have a bestseller where there are two competitors with covers that are 90% similar to mine. Sure, I mean, people don't think about it, right? They just go ahead and make claims, right? But really, on the other side, there might be someone or a family man who is doing that business for his savings. I mean, let's not joke about it.
Then it could also be a negative thing, because it could create a pretty bad cycle, right? Then there's someone who receives the claim. Now I'll start doing it too with the claim, right? We go to get the books, for better or worse, it's us. And so we manage to, so in my opinion, it's a negative thing.
No claims.
No claims,
If I find out,
except in exceptional cases.
thank you. No, no, zero claims.
Except in exceptional cases. No, come on. If they copy your cover exactly the same, and by exactly, I mean,
But then also withdraw it. I mean, if you ever make the claim and everyone copies you, the person will contact you. By email, they will definitely contact you. Withdraw it. I mean, don't be real. Jerks, come on. All right then.
here, one risks not only the account, but if someone advances the money for ads, they not only lose the expected earnings, but also a lot of their own money.
Absolutely. It's no joke. I received a claim, but fortunately, I found someone who I contacted immediately on Facebook via email, and they withdrew it because I was really about to lose a lot of money. Really.
It happened to me too in November. I got quite a scare.
There are also honest people, I must say. Let's start with the questions.
Yes, come on.
So, let's start from the beginning. They greet you here Andre says that for him. 1.8K is a utopia on KDP. Not for long. No, it's achievable. When will the new lessons arrive? Very soon. Just a matter of days now. You see, guys, I haven't been sleeping here to record the lessons. Bravo. Ciao Vita. Thank you. Live. The great queens of KDP, Claudia and Giovanna. Guys, the queens of KDP are all in this. And we have Cree. Denisa has also reached the top, I would say. Denisa is killing it. I don't know if you'll be on the live stream tonight. We are really very nice. Thank you, Joe, with the writing company. Secura, I found my book meticulously edited, my compatriot conversations, had and redone. What genre are the 4 books?
Now I have 6. So in that account you saw, there are 4 live because you saw 8, but they are unpublished.
So 4 books, 10 notebooks.
Yes.
So for those who say, guys, ask me, but how many books, are still there? How many books are needed? With how many books should I start? Do the math yourselves. That is, in 4 books, 10 small chapters. Obviously, in 4 books made with the proper criteria, they are certainly not 4 random books, but this is the potential. I have never had so many books. Did you do the 5K project? Yes, you did an amazing job with the Infinity project. Impressive growth. Great, Carlo.
Yes, and I recommend it to you. If you have the opportunity, I recommend it.
Great, Carlo. I'll sign you up later today. It's a hectic day here, and everyone is showering you with compliments. Sandro, Tonio, Danny. Thank you. Danny is... Let's get to the questions. Look, they have bombarded him with compliments. Beautiful reasoning.
Thank you, guys.
Unfortunately, not everyone has ethics. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Maybe someone thinks about making claims and even writes it with pride. Well, people are really mean. It's not that they don't think about it. Frustrated people. Okay.
This doesn't mean that you should copy the book or the cover exactly, right? Rightly, in those cases, one takes a risk. But if it's similar, just taking inspiration, well, if you think about it a bit, you can let it go.
It sells, right? But yes, it doesn't really work to just copy and paste, and Amazon won't promote you if you do copy and paste. You still need to diversify, because otherwise Amazon will say they are the same. I already have the other one that's doing well. Why should I promote the other one? It won't promote you. Copy and paste doesn't work. Obviously, you need to take something and rework it. But if you make it identical, Amazon won't let it go through. In fact, it will block it. It even says at the beginning that it's too similar, which can now cause misleading issues. So I would avoid it. So, unfortunately for certain people, according to what you are saying, they are not worth much. There are many people who... I confirm. I am indeed the famous king of clay. Oh my. Yes, I know, but I would say go ahead. Search for them on Facebook. Contact them. Otherwise, I will now explain how to respond to Amazon in this case. Can you explain what the COBA file is for? What is the COBA file for, Salvo?
It seems like we are monitoring the ads, and we input the ad data into this file, which helps us achieve the desired ROAS. Obviously, with COBA, we can optimize our ads and try to spend less, which is also important.
Okay, which niches do you publish in exactly in particular?
So now With the guys, I am publishing cookbooks because it has been my weak point until today, and therefore I want to dive into cookbooks. Then, yes, I have investments, and then crafts and hobbies. Those are the niches where they more or less publish everything.
So the usual stuff, nothing strange.
Yes, the usual ones.
So, did you open the accounts with two different LTD companies, a personal account and an LTD?
What have you done? No, in the meantime, I am with the agent with two different names. Obviously, as an individual, there is a problem with the lady that I don't quite understand. It's a bit particular, and one should get well informed about it. Then, rightly so, if I continue with these results, I need to consider how to manage my taxes because I can't keep going indefinitely with people as long as the figures are reasonable, it's fine. But when you start dealing with certain numbers, it becomes a bit more complicated. However, I recommend it. At the beginning, people recommend it because one can sleep peacefully. Otherwise, one would have to open a VAT number. There are those who can and those who cannot open it for many reasons. And it is also very costly.
At the beginning, it is not necessary to open a VAT number. In fact, you can also declare them as royalties. It is not required.
However, I am informed and almost everyone recommended opening a VAT number. Then, rightly so, it is a risk. So I immediately opted for an agent and I was very satisfied.
So, after you did the merge and opened the new account, did you change all the data or were you able to reuse the data from the account you exited from?
When doing the exit, the email is obviously important as well. So after the sale, all the data from your account is transferred, which they call migration. The account remains the same, but all the data is changed, including the email, names, bank accounts, and so on. You cannot use the same email. You need to change the email, and then you can open a new account. In fact, for Amazon, if you create accounts, build a business, and then sell it, they can only be pleased. And in this case, with Empire Flippers, I sold it through them, so it can only make them happy. It's just that they tell you not to publish on the same topic for 3 years. It's Empire, not Amazon.
So, do not publish on the same topic. Obviously, with your name, with your email. Exactly.
I had a book, Keto Diet for Beginners. I avoid publishing on Keto Diet for Beginners with the account opened again under my name, which is more of an Empire thing rather than an Amazon thing.
All right. Did you find your trusted writers on Fiverr? Is it possible to share the contacts?
Yes, I found them right away. There is a writer who works almost exclusively with me because I ordered a book a week for a month and a half. So I didn't give her time to take other orders.
Then he just simply took the exclusive.
Then I give him the gift because he is used to paying a lot. Then thereafter, the cursor in
More. The way you were used to paying, you could buy yourself a freelancer and even put them on your nightstand.
I had a terrible experience with one writing company and a good one with another. But rightly, in terms of cost, there is no comparison. I make 5 with the same dress.
Maybe more. Does the quality change or the quality the same?
No, it's the same, but maybe it's a bit better because you speak directly. I even brought them to WhatsApp and Telegram. So I talk to them directly. It's convenient for them. And it's also convenient for me because we are always in contact with them. Even outside of Fiverr, I pay them later, so it's even more convenient. I do the same.
Half at the beginning and half at the end. So here they ask us what the standards are for choosing a ghostwriter on Fiverr.
I simply looked at the reviews, like you do with books on Amazon. Then you have to try them and test them. If it doesn't work, you change it. Because I repeat, if you find the economical one, you can take the risk of making a book with a freelancer. It can be done and then evaluate it. I might have been lucky. I found two who did the books quite well, but I almost always work with one because they charge me half. So if the other one was already cheap, this one costs half and is much more available. So I can contact her at any time of the day. Now he is helping me with the old books to fix the plagiarism. So he is also very available.
By the way, guys, if you need a contact to fix plagiarism, write to me and I'll send it to you because you've all bombarded me. So, once you've done the check on this tour routine and figured out how to reduce it, I'll send you the contact of an Italian guy who can fix it for you.
I used Turnitin and got scared about a book. In the old account, it was 27%. I called the writer in one day. She fixed it for me. And I gave her an extra $10 to thank her. And I sorted it out immediately.
Perfect. So, Vani, you take a look at the reviews, then actually test them, see how long they take to deliver, check the price you can get, and then you take them out. But it's nothing too complicated. There's no exact science to finding the freelancer. All right. I mean, try them out, and you'll find the one that suits you best, basically. Which part did you find most difficult?
Good question. At the moment, I can say the ads, optimizing the ads is the most difficult part.
But anyway, you still did good numbers. I mean, obviously, there's always, yes, of course. But all in all, the ads didn't kill you. You survived.
No, come on. But as I was saying before, it is a good investment at the beginning. So rightly, if you buy the package from the guys, as we have seen in other interviews, you can find the right balance. Immediately, you need to anticipate that Amazon will request the money for the ads right away. So you have to take that into account as well.
There is some planning to be done. In this regard, I am currently adding lessons to the course, so not only planning on the ads side, but also knowing in advance how much we are going to spend and when our break-even point will be. By the way, I have actually added a very interesting and educational lesson. Indeed.
However, Ricardo, in my case with 3 books, I have not doubled but tripled, and therefore, rightly, even the royalties from November were not enough to cover the entire investment in ads. And rightly, it is a significant amount. So for 2 months, you have to consider that Amazon pays 60. In this case, I advance quite a bit of money for 2 months.
60 from the end of the month. So if you start monetizing 10, it practically pays you 80. By the way, guys, I was telling you that I added a very, very interesting lesson. That explains, I don't know if Dome, the live coach, is here. That explains how to scale exposure. So to take an extra month. So this lesson will be released soon. Very, very interesting. Obviously, there are criteria to be able to apply it, meaning we don't just send mere support and get charged afterward, but it can be very useful.
I managed to increase the
stuck here for a moment. Dad. Let's wait for him to come back. You can suggest it to us now. Then we'll ask him this. Let's wait. Just a moment, please. He's coming back, guys. Can you hear me, Ricardo? Everyone, please stay calm. It disappears and disappears, guys, just like that.
My connection keeps dropping.
So Pasquale is asking us for your writers. Easter.
It's not complicated to find them anyway.
You should maybe ask him for some tips on how to find them, but you can build your own team. Okay. In which markets do you have books?
I only publish there with an exit strategy in mind. I only publish on the .com site because with an exit strategy, if you have books on other markets, they can cause some problems. If 80% are books in English and 20% are in other markets, then yes. But if most of the books are in other markets like Italian, French, German, then in terms of exit, based on my experience, and I speak from my experience, it is a bit more problematic because 90% of the buyers are rightly American or English.
I confirm it. 2 guys. I recently made an exit, and I confirm it as well.
Don't like handling multiple platforms. I don't like managing multiple Amazon ads, so it gets a bit confusing for me. Then, since I have 2 jobs, I wouldn't even have the time to manage these markets.
2 more jobs. The
Publishing you do, exactly. I hope to free you up a bit in the summer to be a bit freer. Come on, we make sacrifices now to enjoy later.
This is also for those who ask me, guys, is there time? How much time is needed? I work 8 hours a day. To give you examples of those who really want to achieve things, who want to get results, even when working. So, how long did it take you to sell the previous account? And what calculation did you make to choose the selling price?
I sold it in 2 days. It took more time to list the business than to sell it. You don't decide the price, they decide it based on certain parameters. And you can either accept or reject their evaluation.
An evaluation based on how much net you have, whether the account is growing or not, etc., etc. They give you a multiplier. And this defines the price. Okay? Then they can also come to you. I can't wait to reach 12 months. Oh, yes.
Do you make changes to the placement in the ads? No, not at the moment. For now, I am optimizing both with bids and then with negative targeting because many times we spend a lot on keywords that do not sell and often are not relevant.
Before, maybe you used to do 1,000 products, 1,000 keywords. Did you go through those things too?
Honestly, no, always few keywords, but usually 300, 400, now even fewer.
Are you doing the 1,000 days?
I have one, yes. I have one, yes,
Okay. You too.
yes.
Okay. If I am an individual with a regular account and I want to open another one, but I only have one PC, how should I proceed? WPS. I have 2 computers. I have 2 computers. Yes. A WPS is nothing more than another computer inside your computer. Otherwise, you buy another PC with a mobile hotspot.
I have 2 cell phones and 2 PCs, so I am sure.
How much do you pay for the book, and how many words is it?
My two writers don't go by the word, that's what they called it. I tell them that I want the book and they write it for me. We agree on it beforehand and they write it for me. I don't know if I can say how much I pay for the book, Ricardo. You tell me if I can say it. Sure. So I paid $60 for the cookbooks. It even feels bad to say it.
How many recipes? How many recipes save $60?
About 100, about 100. But I repeat, the writer told me the problem is not the recipes. So tell me what I need to do and I will do it. These are the exact words in English.
So, let's do the math.
The other writer is asking for something more. So let's calculate for 60 euros, 100 recipes. Then you don't pay for the cover. Look at the cover. I do have a trusted designer, but I use the Books Lab a lot, which I already knew before. And I am finding it good. I have to say that I use them because communication is much faster. Now, however, I need to get the,
How much is it? When they sell a cover for $60, $70.
but I take the higher one, which with the 60 with your discount, 61. Then there's the basic one, which is 40, 45, something like that.
Okay,
With the personal design, maybe I pay 45, 45, then
so we can say $60 for the book, $60 for the cover, and we are at $120.
do you do the formatting yourself or should? I note that I have another trusted formatter for the past 3 years who does it for me at a very low cost.
So should we add another $10? 5 or $10?
15, $15, 15 to 20 depending on the length. The formatter asks me based on the length.
Let's take the example of the cookbook. So we are at $120 plus $15, $135. Okay? And the book is done. Then we do the launch. So what can we spend? 50 euros for the 10 registered reviews. And we are at $185. 185 euros.
But I spend much more.
Okay. For the writings or for the ratings.
No, because since we save so much on writing, I'm already off to a great start with the rentals, right? I tell them to do as many as they can.
Yes, yes, of course, but I'm asking you, how many written reviews do you do?
But I start with the services, right? So about 10 when they manage to do them. Yes, but at the same time, I have 2 channels that do the written reviews. They manage to do them, but there are periods when they can't and periods when they can. When they can, they do even 15, 20. They manage to do them. But more or less, yes, at the beginning, I start with 10, 15 reviews.
So how much could you quantify a well-done launch without any issues, let's say? With a lot of ratings, a lot of reviews, more service reviews?
Then keep in mind that they get a lot of ratings, but within a week, at least 20% will be cut by Amazon. So I think it will be around $130. But you can start with much less.
But let's do the math like this. So a book launch without skimping on anything costs 130 plus 135, which we calculated. With 265, you can potentially launch a book that can make you $2,500 net per month, as in Salvo's case, right? So 2,500 net for a book. Paid $265, 10 for the first month of publication. See how the game changes, guys. Beautiful climb. Congratulations. What has changed in your approach to self-publishing? How do you analyze things differently? apart from the numbers?
So in terms of keyword research, as I mentioned before, not much has changed because in the end, the keywords are always the same, right? There are some new ones, but in the end, speaking for myself, I always publish in very, let's say, very popular keywords. Regarding the approach, because with young people, you have a slightly different approach. Even with saving, analyzing everything in detail, looking at the cover done in a certain way, the ads in a certain way, and then they gave me that something extra in the sense that, wow, you can actually achieve certain figures. You don't believe it until you actually reach those figures. I was talking to Giuseppe and I was already telling him that I can't manage with cookbooks. I'm terrible at it. Don't worry, we'll make them work well now. And that's exactly what happened. So now it also gives you that push to do well. Great.
So, how much did you pay to fix it after the plagiarism check?
So my writer asked me for $15 and I gave her 25. What plagiarism percentage did you have? 27%. Now there's the cookbook that I published. It was a cookbook that I had already put on hold to publish with you, and now the result is 37%, but it's a bit of a problem to go down. We have already gone down to 28, but we might need to go down to 15. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ricardo, to be sure. And with cookbooks, however, it is more difficult.
But, Mario, I'll give you a contact too. I will be there. Do the proofreading like Diegoli does, then
I'll give you a contact. How do you handle proofreading and the ver? I check it myself.
it gives me a reading. They are errors.
Yes, yes, yes. And above all, first I see if it logically makes sense, even if I obviously can't understand it 100%, but more or less, I can read in English. You can tell if there are paragraphs that don't make sense, and then I do a grammar check using tools for grammatical corrections and fix it because those guys, being mostly Indians, Pakistanis, make grammar mistakes, even simple ones, but they are repeated throughout the book. But this problem also exists with writing companies.
You can also find someone good on Fiverr to do the proofreading. I also recommend, guys, to really make use of your knowledge. Okay. For instance, I had a very skilled friend when I lived in the UK, and I often get her help with things like checking subtitles, checking descriptions, checking the book, and things like that. So you also take advantage of your knowledge because really, or for example, another girl I know who is graduating in languages. Maybe also use the external knowledge you have, right? Because on Fiverr you already save money, but obviously these are people who have understood the game a bit, right? Outside, you might find people who will do the job for 20 euros. Really. And they are even happy about it. Can you avoid doing ads? That is, selling organically? I would say no.
I don't think so.
All US market, yes, already mentioned. Recursive writer. Are you looking for any nationality? I always have the role of suggesting to look for them in the UK and US to have more confidence in the result, but they are actually more difficult to find.
Honestly, I already select India, Pakistan, that area because they are the cheapest.
They are the ones who are hungriest. So, absolutely.
Once I looked for a ghostwriter. I think he was American or English, but he asked for 4 times as much. It will be more. It's not worth it.
Congratulations. I'm going a bit off topic to ask if upvotes and report abuse are working, because frankly, I haven't done them yet. I can't really say. It's also been a while since I've done them honestly. But on Flip or Optic Exit, they don't have problems for other markets. The problem is on Empire. What does it mean to publish with an exit perspective? Exit means selling your account. So exiting a company is when you sell your company, basically. So publishing with the perspective of later being able to resell the account, as explained. To make this sale, the books must primarily be at least 80% in the US market. Therefore, publishing with the aim of selling the account means more. These are the smaller ones, around 50K, 60K, 80K. When you start to raise, I'll tell you, to 2, 300, 400, 500,000. It will end at 50 kappa, 60 kappa, 80 kappa. When do you start raising to have next to 2,300? Obviously, it takes more time and more precautions. To understand the quality of the ghostwriter, do you read the entire book? How do you proceed?
What I'm saying is I'm not saying to read it all 100%, but to take a thorough look.
When you exited the first account, did you have to release all the book certificates before you could sell?
At the time, they didn't do it, so I don't know.
At Christmas time, I don't know. What?
Before, there were no certificates. Then I rightly gave you all my files, documents, books. I gave you everything that, yes.
A lesson on the exit is coming. It will come. Now we are seeing since. We have sold a small account that we also had, so we will probably do it. There is another guy who is in consulting who sold the account and will be arriving shortly. Paid audio.
No, in the past I tried, but only lost money. I earned it with Amazon and lost it with ACX, and now there are a ton of problems. Let's leave it at that.
But what would be the benefit of having multiple accounts? Aren't you at more risk that way? Actually, you're at less risk because you diversify. Obviously, with multi-accounting, I now give lessons. Guys, wait before doing anything. I'll explain how to open a multi-account. You are less at risk because you diversify. So if something happens to one account, it won't cripple the other. Additionally, there's the matter of selling. Smaller accounts are easier to sell. It's easier to sell 2 accounts at 4K each than 1 account at 8K, which is already quite a bit of money. Even 4K is a good amount of money, eh? 4K. In my honest opinion, you're already at approximately 150,000. So yes, indeed. These are starting to be significant numbers before making the book fair by a person.
But not too much negative reviews. What potential buyers want, I wouldn't have the time to do it.
You don't need to know how many children the potential buyers of the book have, whether they are married or divorced.
No, I don't go looking for particular niches. They are the ones we all know.
So when you sell the account, do the pending payments in euros go to you or the buyer?
You agree on the payment method among yourselves, but they are yours because they are already here. Until the account is sold, you are obviously obligated to manage your account until the migration is complete, and you must manage it. From there, I am the new buyer, but already paid Empire, in this case, Empire. And then you agree on how these royalties will be paid. It can also advance you, or it can tell you to wait leaving your data until the royalties are paid. But if the amounts are not large, they might say, all right, I'll advance them to you now since I'll get them back in a month and 60 days anyway.
The difficulty can be for those who, even in 2023, do not speak English like me to verify the writer's skill. As I was saying, find someone who is good with English who can give you a hand. Surely you know someone who graduated in languages, I bet. So, how much did the help of the coaches influence?
Well, both with the guys and in the previous ones, especially the guys, given the results. I repeat, I should have made the purchase of the objective package earlier, if that's what it's called, right?
Yes, indeed, we have definitely renamed KDP Infinity. Keep looking for Lori. For books in Italian, Turnitin does not work. Correct. And I don't know about Italian. In German, it should work. For cookbooks, it is enough to make small changes to abbreviations, figures, etc. So for cookbooks, just making small changes to abbreviations and figures can reduce plagiarism, I think. That's what it means.
But it's not that easy. For example, it's flagging even things like preparation time, cooking. It marks all of them as plagiarism and even the abbreviations. So it's a bit complicated with cookbooks. With other niches, it is much easier because you just need to change the words, use synonyms, and you can avoid plagiarism. With digital products, it is a bit more complicated, in my opinion. It takes a bit of tinkering, but it can be done.
But is it okay to use ChatGPT and a description? Zenai. Zenai, we need to understand. Do you write the descriptions yourself or delegate them to a copywriter?
So I have books with descriptions made by me, but recently I always have them done on Fiverr. I also have tips on Fiverr. I like Fiverr. Let's try to create other problems.
On Flipper, they refused my sale because my bestsellers, which are 2 years old, are being republished to make a change, and they appear as new without the 12-month history they require. Okay, this is important. So, guys, be careful with unpublishing and republishing when considering the history. At this point, do I receive your emails every day? These days, yes, because a new feature is about to be released. For the multi-account, we need to understand how to classify them fiscally. Well, it can be done, Cry. Let's talk so I can explain it to you. What budget did you start with after purchasing the 5K package?
Make books very little. Then, as I mentioned earlier, I advance the money for the ads. So if this month I spent almost 10K, last month I spent 7K, all the money I advanced.
Why do you say that increasing revenue is not beneficial for people?
It's not that it's not convenient, but having a much higher turnover of earnings, it's better to have direct awareness, in my opinion, to manage them personally, because people are always intermediaries, in my opinion. Could you explain in detail how the presentation works?
Now let's use this space for questions. That might be useful to you. And if not, you can write to me so we can talk about it privately. Okay, they say that Turnitin also works in Italian perfect. Okay, I had the same problem. Luca has a plagiarism contact, that's fine. When the KDP email arrives saying that the book has content available for free on the web, what should be done to unlock the book? Will there be lessons about this? Okay. Shortly. Many of you, we need to catch up, right? I haven't forgotten. I believe it's been a few days. Guys, that we are overwhelmed with work on updating the lessons on ads, updates for the anti-ban. We are considering all your requests to improve the course and keep it updated more and more. Sorry, I arrived late. What ROAS were you able to achieve? Okay, so ROAS well said.
Well, this month a bit more than two. So 2 and 2, I can't reach half. So 2, 2, 2, 3.
Which build 22K build 12 and some change. Uh-huh. Another question. Come on, ask some serious questions. Enough with this.
I take this opportunity to tell you when we can have a nice meetup.
Yeah, it needs to be done. We were talking about it here with the guys. We were saying that if we do it, everyone has to be there. I was thinking of doing it in Rome. So we all get caught a bit from below, from above, and from the middle, and it catches us there. 22K in revenue isn't a bit too much. 12K in expenses. Actually, yes, they are still a bit high. 10K in expenses. Okay. So it's fine actually. With a ROAS of 2, it's fine. Obviously, if it was 3, it would be better. If it was 4, even more so. But already 2 is good, in the sense that I put in 1,000 and get out 2,000. It's not bad, right? Obviously, it's not an exceptional result yet. In fact, work is still ongoing. It can always be optimized more and more, improved to achieve even more efficient results. Let's say, right. Because it's nice to make 20, but spending only 5 is a different game, for sure. Hooray! Everyone here is excited about the meetup. We have to do it. We have to do it. Let's also invite Jusei. If I may ask, how much did you sell the account for? Anto is already looking forward to the exit.
60K. Then the percentage taken by the payment processor needs to be deducted.
Okay. I also sold it for around 50. A small account with 2K, something net. Great, Andre. Everyone to Rome. 3 contacts from your union to sort out the project. Write to me privately, and I'll send it to you. I would suggest inviting our friend from the USA as well. Okay. But are we going to throw away 10K? No, I would say no. What do you think, Salvo?
No. And then there are 12. Come on. 2K are important.
Ah, indeed. What is Empire's percentage? So, to talk to Empire, do you need to speak English? Yes.
Oh, yes. I don't speak it very well, but I managed to make myself understood and understand them. I was able to have calls with them.
Then if you need help, we can assist you here. Let us know, and we will help you. How's it going, Salvo? Tough. Did they bombard you tonight? Come on. Come on.
A nice chat.
Yes. So, why doesn't Empire flip?
I knew Empire, so I didn't know Flipper.
Empire is bigger.
Empire, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, however, Empire is a bit more strict. When I sold it, they were much more relaxed and didn't look for so many requirements. My account, though, on average did not reach 2K. I still managed to sell.
Instead, now they want an average of 2K, at least for a year. They ask a lot more questions than before. It's not that easy, but it can be done. Create the super product ads. But that's it.
No, I should do it, but for now, I am on standby with the ads as well. I just optimize them.
Just the products. What is this super ads products? Haven't you heard of these things?
I don't even make those products.
Do not hear them. Well done. Motivating example. Thank you. Yes. Now I am much more ignorant. Well, but it makes sense, guys. Rightly so.
Well, now there are many accounts for sale. When I sold mine, it was just me and one other person. So there were 2 accounts for sale. Now there are many more.
Come on, there are the last 2 or 3 questions. Then message phase no accept.
Don't do it here. And bombard us with messages, Salvo.
Oh yes. Goodbye, guys. I'm going on Fiverr to play with the ghost in India.
Not just India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Those are the ones.
Do your books sell in the UK, Canada, and Australia?
But a few copies, but 95% is all US market. Also because I don't do sponsored ads in other markets.
Sorry, they made me doubt about the tracked names. Could you explain the difference? Simple, Danny. Tracked means that all the orders have been tracked. Not tracked means that there is a discrepancy between the orders that the ads report and those that were actually made by KDP on those days. All right, guys, last question. When you search for the keywords and only one profitable one, would you publish there?
It depends if it has a monopoly on sales and a very low biestere. It could be done. Considering the cost of books, if someone wants to take a risk, in the end, I might as well risk it here with a book and it could work out.
Leo, regarding the question you asked, I say yes. I won't read it out or bring it up because the interview might be published later. So there are things that remain private within our group. Anyway, I tell you yes, that was the strategy. And then the written reviews. Okay. Have you ever published where only gurus? All right, I think we're good. What do you say?
Oh, yes.
They asked us the questions. Okay. I thank you very much for your time, for being here with us, as always, for providing your testimony. Congratulations, of course, on the results achieved, and I am convinced that you are really taking off now. Keep us updated on everything. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ricardo.
Thank you, Ricardo. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Good night.
Hi, guys. Hello, everyone.
Hello?